Yo, what's up, GM, and welcome back again to another game spotlight, featuring another game that we are actually really excited about, and it's a game that we have dedicated a whole week of activities for with the YGG community. And this game is no other than Pixels. So we got a full stack of our community leads right now on our screen. We have No Way CLs, we have Fallen Corpses, we have Luke, the founder of Pixels. We have Heidi, the head of community of Pixels, and we have Legion, one of their main streamers. So what's up, guys? GM.
Hey, GM
Morning.
everyone.
Great. Thanks for having us.
So, it's a pleasure. Excited
Right.
about this one, to be honest.
So, so guys, Pixels is a new game, one of the newest games on Web3. What are your thoughts about Pixels, or maybe can we have a general overview on what Pixel is all about?
Yeah, I can
Uh,
give that. So yeah, Pixels is a social farming game essentially. So we are building out an interoperable Web3 game. Our first core game loop is kind of built around farming. It's really similar to this game called Stardew Valley. If you've ever played that game. The whole idea is we want to make a very nice, easy, and casual experience for people to onboard into Web3. And we want the game to feel really lighthearted and be a bit more approachable to casual Web3 users.
Definitely, and I can really see some of the resemblance, especially on the Stardew. I actually played it quite some time, and yeah, it actually gives me that vibes. It's actually really nice. It's actually really chill as well, and I think guys were able to hit up a lot of checkbox on that one.
Nice.
Yeah, no, Stardew Valley is one of my favorite games of all time. We definitely took some inspiration early on in the days when we were starting to build out this game, but it's kind of morphed into something of its own too. We take a large emphasis on social play. We think about social density a lot, and obviously we play with ownership a lot in our game too. We have a lot of interoperability in our game, where I don't know if you can see that screenshot behind no ACLs, but there's tons of avatars we introduce into the game. We're playing with interoperability in some more interesting ways too, which you'll see coming up. Including different ERC20s, different virtual land NFTs as well. And we're really excited about what Web3 can offer in terms of the ownership layer, interoperability, and the incentive design as well.
Yeah, I love the fact that you guys have been like integrating a lot of big name NFTs and a lot of even smaller communities. Like I'm a part of one of the communities called Scholars, and I can use that NFT in game as well. And a lot of people are like, "What the heck is that? I've never seen that character before."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really cool on that end because it's bringing a lot of different communities together into one like kind of social hub in a sense.
Yeah, and you touched on something that's really important to us, and that's being accessible and welcoming to everyone, right? So obviously having the bigger communities there is really fun, or like maybe the pricier ones, like those are really fun to have for us. But integrating those smaller kind of micro communities is also a huge thing that we love seeing. Yeah, Scholars is like, it's been around for a while. That one is rare. So I'm not surprised people ask you about that one. It's a cool one.
Yeah, I think that kind of hits
That's
on the
really
common
cool.
misconception too, where like market cap and floor price doesn't equate to the size of community or the strength of community. What we've noticed is these smaller NFT communities are actually the most engaged communities a lot of the time, and those are the types of communities that we want to onboard into the game more than anything else. Rather than looking at like floor price or what might be hyped up in Web3, identifying communities who just have good engagement, have really strong ties, like those are the things we want to be working with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. Community focus is key. And I love all the collaboration here. Of course, the creativity, bringing in all these interoperable experiences. It definitely reminds me of Worldwide Web 3, for those who are familiar with that. So it's cool. It gives me the nostalgic, like Game Boy vibes as well, like the pixelated world. So I like what I'm seeing. I haven't actually jumped into this game yet. Everything I've seen so far has been from the community. There's a lot of excitement here in YGG. So I'm looking forward to, learning more about Pixels here.
And And also the
Um,
fact that it's not like overly graphic intensive. Like that's one of the things that we've had some issues with. A lot of our members are either playing mobile or don't have the best PC. So we've had a lot of like really graphically intensive games, and it unfortunately, kind of pushes out a bunch of our community that just can't. Their potato of a PC can't handle it, as a lot of them say.
Actually, before we do a deep dive on Pixels, maybe we can show one video from our community as well, so people new to Pixels can actually see or visualize on what we are talking about and what the game's talking about. So let's go, Senpu. Let's play one video. Then yeah, I would be asking us.
Just let's do a line, right? Everyone get like stand a meter behind each other so it looks like longer than it is. Like let's just make this ridiculously long. So I'll start at the end here, and then like everyone go to the right of me. Just start a massive line, but everyone like drop a meter back. If we can do that somehow, everyone drop back a little bit, so then we can make like a super long line. Everyone make a gap
I
between the
don't even
person.
know if we need to have a gap.
Swooshy. Everyone step back. Yeah, I think everyone's getting adjust now. If someone's too close to you, just drop back. What we've done. Perfect. There we go. Nice. All right, I'll get a screenshot. That's perfect. Nice. All right, let's get the music rolling. Right, we're about to start it. The conga line. We're going in. Right. I'm gonna run south. So try and keep this straight, guys. Let's go. Let's go down here. Let's go. Let's move. Come on. Let's go. Right, we're going right. Let's go. Oh no, we've lost the line. Come on, boys. We've lost the line. No.
Regroup.
Right, stop.
Regroup.
Stop. Regroup. Regroup. Right, let's go down this road, down the brick road, and then go north. Right, we got this, guys. There we go.
Naglalag.
I don't even know where we're going at this point. This is not a line. Right, reform. Right, let's turn this down a little bit. We need to reform this line.
Awesome.
I love that so much. And when communities throw events or do things like that on our platform, honestly, nothing makes me happier. Just personally, it's so much fun. It creates such like a happy environment. People are playing together, having a great time. Actually, right now, we've been celebrating summer solstice in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. It happened a few days ago. And so it's all about energy, right? So we've been throwing these energy parties. So there's been a bunch of events this week. So I've had that same experience multiple times this week. It's like such a high of just people coming together and having a wonderful time. I actually think why YGB is throwing an event. I was just talking with the team trying to organize a time for that. So it'll be exciting to see that come together as well.
Yeah, Legion has graciously helped us put together another energy event for Friday here. He's like, hey, yeah, we're Pixels is throwing a bunch of these, and we're like, YGG should definitely get in on it. I'm like, okay, perfect.
Absolutely, yeah, it'll be good.
So yeah, we will be there, and then throughout the seasons, like we have these gap seasons or achievement seasons, and we're just about to start another one. So we're going to be looking to have way more of these like group gathering events to do different things, because the conga line was just one part of it. Tiff put on like a scavenger hunt. We had a hide and seek game, quite a bit of different things.
Yeah, the scavenger hunt was fun. Do you mean the one that happened the other day?
No. So that event was a few months back, but they probably use that idea for the scavenger hunt more. Like it's definitely a fun thing to do. And hopefully, like maybe you guys can elaborate on this. Like, are you thinking about adding some more like different mini games that communities will be able to do in the future?
Yeah, I'll let Luke take this one.
Yeah, no, it's a huge focus. So, like a couple of areas of investment that we're making right now are, one, we've been investing into like our next game mechanic. We have a TGE coming up. We're just in the final steps of getting that organized. And when that comes out, we also have a bunch of content like this new game mechanic built around pets that's releasing. We're super excited about what that's going to do for us, and we've been putting a ton of energy and effort into that. So, in addition to that, we have two other pushes that we've been making. One around UGC, and we just released the first UGC feature this last week, where players can start to introduce their own in-game art into the game. And we're super excited to see what communities do with that. We've seen different NFT communities, build out branded art into the game already, like this collection called Subway Rats. They made like graffiti and stuff for their NFT collection, or Dinahos. It's like another dinosaur NFT collection. They've like released some branded elements too. But then the other thing that we're super interested in is moving towards introducing other types of game mechanics, basically Mario Party style game mechanics. Our developers have been teasing one of them lately internally, but essentially the future for us kind of looks like a mix of UGC and these new game mechanics that communities can help build out as well.
Awesome. I'm actually quite excited with what you announced that it's gonna be having like a Mario Party mini games, and I actually grew up in an environment where we actually do play a lot of Mario Party games, and it's actually quite interesting to see how it would turn out in the future. So I'm actually quite interested, Luke and Heidi, on the background on what actually motivated you guys to create Pixels. I know you guys love Stardew Valley. I know it's really kind of, as I can see it, it's really inspired on the art and like building up the community. So maybe aside from those two, what else are the main reasons that you guys have started Pixels?
Yeah, so I founded what became Pixels a long time ago, actually. And Pixels actually used to be a different product. We used to be doing virtual events in spaces. We used the same technology to host out virtual spaces, and we sold this technology to companies like Apple, Uber, Rippling, and Twitter to host virtual events and to host like virtual offices for them as well too. What we found was that when we gave people virtual spaces, we didn't see very consistent usage. We would give people these spaces and they would use them like once a week, basically, for about an hour on a scheduled cadence, like a happy hour on Friday for 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. for their employees to go to, or other things like that. But we just weren't very compelled by what a lot of these metaverse use cases were. So we started adding in game features onto this tech stack we built. There was a night and day difference between what we had built before, where essentially the key learning there was like you need something for people to do every single day if you want these virtual spaces or these metaverses to actually get used. At the same time, as we moved into that area, we had this NFT collection that was using our platform as a meetup space once a week for an hour. And at first, they were really annoying to me. They kept bugging me to put them in the game. And I kind of wrote them off. But eventually we looked into that use case a lot more, and we saw all these NFT collections out there that had really strong communities that were just basically begging for something to do with those communities. So we took advantage of that and started doing these interoperable integrations into the game engine with these avatar collections, and it got us like a bit of growth in the side of the Web3 space, and it just seemed like the right thing. My own personal background is I have a double degree in computer science and economics. So this space is really fascinating to me for that reason. Just basically getting to build economy ground up, getting to think about game design and game economy building that way. It's a pretty cool thing to be building.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I know. Yeah, before I think it's the similar concept as like Second Life or maybe some of the other games that is actually existing, like a virtual meetup, right? Something that you can walk through. You can walk with your friends, your coworkers, or what. And yeah, adding something into the product itself, like mini games or something else that they can do aside from meeting up. It's actually really interesting because just a background. I still used to play Ragnarok Online. Ragnarok Online has been really out for a very long time in the market already, and it's really old. It's pixelized and what. It's not really how the games are made right now, like 3D and with a lot of cool stuff. But people tend to stay playing the game not for the game actually, but for the community. We used to just sit around in one of the towns there, just chatting up people. Then sometimes when we decide we can do wars or player versus player or something, that is something that we can do on some of the time that we have, like an added feature in the game. But what made us stay is the community itself, and I think this is one of the direction that I can see Pixel is going right now, like building up the community, having enough feature to make people stay, people just hang around for a longer time rather than just like the office mandated hours, right? So it's actually really quite interesting on the approach that you guys have taken.
Yeah, we talk about our community all the time because it is such a strong component of our success and where we are today, and yeah, just all of Pixels, right? And we made a very conscious decision a year and a half ago now that we wanted to build a very specific culture that was not the typical Web3 community, but also wasn't really typical anything. We just wanted it to be this like fun, welcoming environment that literally any kind of person could come on and be like, oh yeah, this is kind of fun. I want to chill here. I want to spend some time here. And we just slowly built that up, and it's been really successful for us. And it's hard also. I will not say that it's been an easy ride, but it's been so fulfilling also to just see it. Even us here today, it's because we have TIFF that's created this community and expanded with YGG. Like, it just keeps going, and it's also been a part of our organic growth strategy, is empowering our users to build communities, and we try to support that as much as we can.
I think we missed an opportunity to play on Pixels right now for this AMA. Like, we are going to virtually meet up there and do some stuff. But yeah, maybe we can do it sometime in the future. And yeah, it's actually really interesting for me to see that you guys have focus on that key aspect. Where in the other games just focus on the gameplay and such, but having a good community with a lot of added features that all the other sub DAOs, other guilds, other communities can actually utilize or have events in the future is a really good avenue for us. Yeah, no else. You mentioned that you haven't played the game yet, right? But you have seen a lot of videos. But
Yeah.
what does pique your interest for Pixels?
Honestly, the most interesting aspect of this ecosystem is the interoperability, part of it, right? And like exactly that. Like there's a lot of games that are pixelated, and for one thing, like it's a niche market for a lot of the gaming communities around the world. And there are a lot of Web2 games that they're pretty fun and they have their own like tight-knit community, right? And it's just specific to that one IP. But when you do something like this where you allow communities to plug in their IP and bring whatever it is that they want into the game, you got a lot more freedom there, right? And it's a lot more exciting. And then that opens the doors for like these communities to meet each other in game, whether it be through events or whatever the case may be, and collaborate to some level, right? And that might create new relationships and even spawn a new collaboration in the game or something entirely new, right? So I think it's interesting, and really like that's the most exciting part to me, is just the interoperability, welcoming everybody in to build what it is they want, and yeah, just have fun experiences with your friends and meet people in game. So it looks good so far. I gotta dive into this game myself and play it. I've seen all of the fun content, even the conga line there and some of the YGG events before. So this will be the week we highlight the game here in our community, and I'll be diving in. It'll be fun. Yeah.
It's great that you brought up interoperability, actually, because your background is like that to a T. So you've got tons of integrated avatars, but you're also standing in another realm, which is new cyber. Luke, do you want to talk about like kind of the future there with that?
Yeah, so we're essentially rolling out our UGC live to all of our users, like our UGC tooling, essentially letting users create their own worlds, letting users create their own game mechanics. Like, we want to really push what interoperability means in the space. And to do that, yeah, we're not just interested in these avatar integrations, we're interested in deeper interoperability. New Cyber was one of the first experiments that we did with that, where we started integrating in other virtual land into our game engine. So New Cyber had virtual apartments and an NFT collection that they already released. around these virtual apartments. And they also had their own ERC20. And we experimented with integrating both of those and building out a game kind of completely oriented towards that community. And the next stages of what we're doing is kind of allowing basically any community to host different interoperable experiences just like that. For us, we just want to kind of enable communities to engage their audiences better. And there's no better way to do that than through a game or game mechanics. And we just want to make that really easily accessible to communities and see what they can create.
Yeah, for this reason, I'm describing Pixels as the Web3 Roblox.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I think Roblox, it's a good comparison. The only tidbit I would add to that is there's different levels of UGC that you can go down, right? UGC tooling can be really, really simple. Like if you ever played the game Neopets, there was UGC in that game, but it was basically just like styling your store with CSS. And it's funny because I think Neopets taught like a ton of people how to code out CSS back in the day. And then there's Roblox, which is sitting in the middle. It has its own programming language, and you can upload assets. And then all the way on the end of the spectrum is things like Unreal Engine or Unity. And we kind of want to sit more in this casual end of the UGC spectrum, where we want it to be pretty easily accessible to have creators come in, but still be powerful enough to engage communities.
Sounds good. It's exciting, honestly. I'm just excited about the whole interoperable thing. Like, I found this picture here on your Twitter page, actually, and I noticed all the different communities throughout Web3 that are featured here. And it's cool to see that, like, it's multi-chain, and like you said, you just welcome anybody in to come and build something, be creative, and yeah, have a fun experience here in Pixels. So I'm excited to like actually play this game. Like, do you guys have any storyline aspects in play? Like, what's going on as far as the backstory behind Pixels when you enter this world? That's what I'd like to know about. What is the origin here?
Yeah, there's a whole like lore that we have in the back end, and we're trying to introduce that more and more throughout the game. Obviously, a game like Stardew Valley has that dripping throughout all of it, and we took tons of inspiration from that game. But yeah, the game has more depth than a lot of people who are first coming to play it initially realize too. Our farming game mechanic is quite built out, and there's a bunch of secrets for you to kind of explore. Like the first time that you walk into one of our in-game saunas is this thing that like blows a lot of people's mind. It's when you see like all these people together just like hanging out in this virtual sauna, because there's energy constraints in the game, and it's one of those game mechanics that we've introduced just as an experiment that actually ended up sticking really well. But yeah, I mean, my best advice to you is go to play the game. I'm sure a lot of people in YGG probably know and can help you get through the game loop. It's pretty awesome to see the amount of support through that. And it's one of those games where, yeah, the more help you get from friends, the easier it's going to be, because you might make some silly choices in your first couple of days, which aren't going to get you as far in the game as you could if you have like somebody who's walking you through, somebody who's a bit more experienced before.
And I think one thing that can actually help, especially the newcomers here, people who are watching this game is called Pixels, the one we're doing a spotlight on, and we actually had a quest on our previous YGGJP season, which had people or community members from YGG create beginner's guide for Pixels. So maybe we can discuss more into details on that, Fallen, on what are like the quests that we had previously that can actually help out some of our new community members or players who actually are quite interested on what we are talking about.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if it's news to Luke and Heidi here, but we have what we call a GAP program, or a Guild Achievement Program, and we've been doing these seasonally. And essentially, what it is they're game achievements. I'm sure you're all familiar with those, right? Almost every game, or even Steam, has achievements for hitting certain things. We've done that with what we call soulbound NFTs. on Polygon, where again, obviously can't trade them or sell them. That we don't want that, but we're kind of building this idea of like a Web3 resume for people within games, right? So whether or not that's doing stuff for playing games or building content around games or being a leadership, we wanted to be able to encompass all of these things and reward the people that are doing the hard work. And then, so not only will you get this soulbound NFT, but you also have the opportunity to get different rewards. So we've been using our community token, so YGG token, but we've also had other rewards for different games. Whether that's been Castle Crush or a few other things, right? Whatever token really wants to be there. We're kind of teasing the idea of having different rewards possibly as well, like actual NFT rewards to go along with that. But we're kind of still in the infancy of developing that program. But Tiff, and mainly Legion here, shout out to Legion. He's actually put together a lot of the Pixels quests, right? When Tiff came to us and said, "Hey, we want to work with you guys. What can you kind of bring to the table?" Right? We were like, "Hey, we can design these quests to really build up some hype around it." And Legion has done a really, really good job of like kind of tailoring these quests and giving people an extra goal to strive towards within Pixels. So, Legion, do you want to kind of talk about Tiff and maybe some of your decisions on why you made those quests or chose those quests?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, they had to be easy enough for people to be achievable to do them in a week. Also, we had some quests around the event that we just witnessed. It was from one YGG community member that had a quest to create a video or some sort of content around that event. Also, for this for the new season, I ramped it up a little bit, and we have a quest to be like level 100 total in Pixels, and also finish some why not quests, some flower powder quests. You know about them. So yeah, some a bit harder. The why not butter brew quest, it's a big quest in our community, and also some easier that can be done in a week for new players to be engaged and have some sort of goal towards, and also to get the key. That's a quest to get the key of success.
That's a hard one too. You gotta level up cooking.
Yeah, it's the whole idea is you want some of these quests just like any other video game where it's like really, low fruit, a new beginner player could complete them, then like a mid-tier one, and then like the hardcore one, right? Like hit level 100 is a pretty lofty goal, right?
I was gonna say, like who is even like close? I don't know. Maybe Camp.
Yeah, a bunch of our Legion guys are probably pretty close. Like that was the joke when we were doing it. I'm like, Legion, I bet a bunch of your TIFF guys have already completed a bunch of these. Like, yeah, a few of them might.
Level 100 total. It's pretty easy. Like I'm level 200, and the Chicken, Vanquish, Cam are level 400. Their total level is 400. So yeah, level 100.
Levels. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that makes a lot more sense. I thought you meant like farming or something, and I was like,
no. There is no one that has like level farming higher than 50 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't mean it's not off the table though in future seasons, right?
Yeah, level 45 on one quest is a big achievement that only like 10 players have it or something like that.
Those are our top farmers. Like those are the grinders. And we talk about this a lot too, because people constantly ask us like, oh, I want harder content or I want easier content. So yeah, it's the same thing that you guys were talking about, kind of like pleasing each type of player and making it open to everyone. It's awesome.
Exactly. Like who knows, maybe in the future when we talk a little bit more now that we've kind of like made introductions, right? Maybe like there is some way to kind of integrate these quests into the actual game itself, right? To give some of your players a little bit of goal, and maybe who knows, maybe it's not just YGG, maybe we can throw your upcoming Pixels token into the mix too, right?
Yeah, no, that's stuff I'm super interested in exploring, honestly. We have our own rewards dashboard coming up. Like even it could go the other way too, where we could give out YGG's token, things like that. But then the stuff that you guys are doing with like that Web3 resume, I don't know if people understand how important and how necessary that is right now. That is something that's greatly missing from the space. And yeah, I'm super excited to see what you guys do with that, especially as people start to build up a resume of like other Web3 games as well. One of the biggest things that we struggle with is like um, the balance of like allowing for an easy onboarding experience while still making sure that rewards are given to real users. So things like a Web3 resume would be great if we could pull from that, saying, hey, this is a user who has activity in all these other games. They're probably a likely real user if they've gone through all of this work. Yeah, I'm super excited to see what you guys do with that, because I think it's super important work that needs to be done in this space, and would love if that like burden of proof isn't all on us, because we do our own work on that, where we're constantly removing bad actors from the ecosystem, and a lot of the data that we look at is things like these in-game achievements. Has this person put in the work to do some of this stuff through the game or progression that didn't necessarily get them immediate returns, all of that. Like, we look at a ton of data, but these kinds of things, the more that you build up and the more cross-game references you get, the more interesting it becomes. So yeah, super excited to see how that goes for all of you, and we'll probably be using you guys for some of that stuff in the future as well.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, right? It's something that we had been dealing with. A lot of our game partners have been saying the same thing, and we were thinking, well, we want to be the guild of guilds. How do we get around this problem, and how does Web3 really solve that, right? This is where the blockchain can really come in, and it's not like somebody can change or edit their achievement data and be like, yeah, I totally did all this, right? It's on chain, it's immutable. And now, any game or anything, we even have a few people that have applied for other like community leadership roles in other games, and they've like said, look, I do a lot of community stuff for YGG. I can prove it. I would be a perfect fit to kind of lead a community or help moderate, right? We even have achievements for moderation in our Discord. So it's been, definitely something that's interesting, and we're still tweaking, right? We're going to be going into our 4th season. Actually in the next 2 weeks we'll be launching that, right? And we've still been tweaking our dashboard, tweaking all the stuff, right? I'm sure Luke, it's never ending, right? You fix one problem and a billion come up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly a great program. Like, I can speak on it a little bit firsthand. Like, having this aspect of on-chain badges, like achievements for whatever it is you do. Like myself, I participate in content creation. I do different things with games. I, do some community leadership things as well with some games in the community. So there's different things you can participate in aside from the quest lines for different partner games and the actual games themselves. And when you're going to collaborate with other games or projects, whatever it may be, like Fallen said, if you're a moderator and so on, whatever position you're going for, it's a lot more streamlined and credible than sending somebody, a cover letter with your resume with all of these references and so on. You can see it on chain. You can see the specific data and everything that you need to know without even having to go through all of these things. So far, I think it's doing really well. There's a lot of other guilds doing similar things as well, but not quite at this level. But this is only the beginning, and hopefully this continues to evolve and becomes more of a reliable platform moving forward.
Yeah, getting this data on chain can be super helpful for the player as well too, where it's like, okay, if I know there's players in other games who might want to play Pixels, and you have that data on chain, like, I'm probably going to want to give you an incentive to play Pixels. So having this data on chain as a player is pretty valuable, because then you're showing other games like, hey, I'm a great player in these other games. I'm very valuable to your ecosystem. Like, you should probably give me some incentives to join that.
Yep, agreed. It's good stuff.
Yeah, I had Sempu kind of pull it up there just to showcase a little bit of what it is. This is our new dashboard we released in season 3. Before it was we didn't have a dashboard. So this is, again, iteration 2 of probably many more coming up.
All right, guys. So I think we are about to open up the question and answer portion of our AMA. So you guys, if you have questions right now, you can throw it in. So Legion, Luke, and Heidi can actually answer some of them. And to people watching us right now on our social media platforms, we are currently live as well on our Discord, so you can type in your questions here on our AMA discussion. So just a quick question between the three of you guys. So maybe this is one of the questions we have prepared actually. How do you guys actually prepare, or how do Pixel aim to introduce Web3 gaming to a broader audience? Like, are there any initiatives or strategy in place to attract players that are not really familiar with the blockchain technology? Because if I'm not mistaken, there are other games that is quite similar to how Pixels operate right now, like Roblox, Simple Life, or something else. Any community based or community driven game, right? So how do we expand it to those people using the traditional outlet, which is Web 2?
Yeah, so we've onboarded a million people into Pixels already, which is pretty exciting. But yeah, what's interesting is there's only like, if you look at the numbers, there's only like a million monthly active gaming wallets in Web3 right now. And that's not many. And one of the things that we're thinking about is, okay, where do we go from here over the next 6 to 12 months? And what we're focused on in the short term is we still think there's a lot of Web3 users who are already onboarded into Web3 through things like Coinbase or Binance. They've touched a lot of people already, and they've already done a lot of the work of onboarding people into Web3. And we're not having to go against the grain in terms of like convincing Web2 user why Web3 is interesting. But we still think there's a whole lot of warm Web3 users out there who just haven't played Web3 games yet. So they're already kind of onboarded into the concept of Web3, or they might even have wallets already in these, or at least custodial wallets or non-custodial wallets in these exchanges. And that's kind of our next user that we're targeting, essentially. People who are already interested in Web3, who have some experience, have probably bought crypto before, but just haven't played Web3 games yet. And I think we're at the point now when we're looking at our numbers, working at retention, all of that, where we have a game that people like without the Web3 elements. So when we start to play with more of these and start to introduce Web3, assisted growth, we're super excited to see what that unlocks for us. But yeah, the core of it was, we had to make sure the game was fun first. We've been hyper analyzing retention, engagement numbers, all the traditional numbers that any game studio would when they're just building a Web 2. And we're sitting at good benchmarks compared to all these Web 2 games. And now it's time to kind of turn on the gas and start more traditional expansion in these markets that we think are most likely to convert.
Definitely, definitely. I think I really agree with you on that. I think one of the biggest mistake of the early games on Web3 was that they actually focused on the tokenomics and the earning aspect of the game rather than the game itself. And majority of the games previously launched was that when the token price actually have gotten low, the player base actually went away. And the game itself was not as polished as possible, as much as the games right now. And yeah, Legion was actually asking, please launch on mobile as well, as majority of the player base as well are on mobile right now, and the game is available on web base, right? So yeah, definitely agree with you on that. Focus first on the game, build on the community, love the game first, and afterwards expand to it. So we have one question here from our community member, Beebs. So he is actually asking, can you actually share any updates or expansions that you guys are planning for Pixels? So what the YGG community loves the most are leaks. And on this kinds of stream, they tend to get a lot of alphas and leaks from the games that they actually play and love. So do you guys have any leaks that we could actually hear right now? You heard it first here on YGG AMA Kickoff stream, and yeah, we're actually quite excited on those leaks. Leaks, please. Let's go.
Oh man, no, it's funny because we leak
every
so much.
day.
Yeah, we build in public, so we're very transparent with basically everything. To us, it's like the biggest superpower, being like extremely transparent with roadmap. Any roadblocks we hit. That's gotten us a lot of community trust, and there's not much we can leak right now, other than the token is coming that we have, Pixel, and we're not too far away from it, so we're pretty excited about the next stages of what that unlocks for us. We have game mechanics that are ready to launch as soon as that token launches, and we're just in the final stages of getting that TGE ready. So it's exciting on that end.
Pets.
Pets are coming.
Pets are coming.
Awesome. Another question is from Landfill. So, if a project wants to explore working with you towards a goal of interoperability, how can you how or can they get in touch with you guys?
Yeah, so we have a form for that. Yeah, we have a form. It's linked kind of everywhere. It's in our Discord primarily, I guess, under like the help chat channel, and it's all collaborations and integrations, I believe. And yeah, they can just fill out that form. And I will say we get a lot of requests, so unfortunately we're not able to get back to every single one of them, but we do read through every submission that we get. So that's a great way to get in contact with us.
Awesome. So another question. Sorry, there's a lot of questions right now after I open the floor. So this question is from Mangdags. Knowing that Pixel is integrating different NFT project, would you actually consider having a GAP Pixel related badge into the game, like something that they can show off on the game itself?
Yeah, I mean, definitely interested in that. If you guys have any ERC 721, or honestly, we might even be able to read ERC 20s in that same way. If it's in your wallet and you connect your wallet, and you give us read-only permission, then yeah, we can read it and interpret it however we like in the game. So even just like one avatar as a representation of a badge in the game, we could do that.
Nice. Yeah, I just want to add a comment. Like, I thought it was pretty interesting that you brought up earlier, Luke, the fact that like people don't really talk about it a lot. There are so many users in Web3 that don't even realize there's an entire ecosystem outside of coins and the exchanges and the gambling realm that they play in crypto, right? So it's interesting. Like, I'd like to see that market tackled. Like, if a lot more projects in the space could do that and bring in these people that know about crypto, they're Web3 savvy, and they're always trading, but they don't realize that an entire ecosystem of apps and games and so on exists. If we can bring these people in, there's a lot more users out there that are ready to just like jump right in and start playing games, right? So it's interesting.
I also think it's a part of the narrative that is really common in Web3. So this was more common when we were a lot smaller and people didn't know much about us, but they would always ask us about our NFT collection first. Every time they're like, oh, tell us about your collection. Do you have a token? It was like very focused on like specific Web3 things that are very common, right? And in the end, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little fed up with that question. And I would just say, you know what? We are a gaming studio first and an NFT collection fourth or fifth, right? We're creating a game here using Web3 technology. And that's really like the change in narrative that we've been doing.
Yeah, it's really surprising that so many users out there have not even dipped their feet in the water of Web3 itself. They're just buying coins and trading coins, and that's all they know. What's the next moon? What's the next coin? They don't even know there's games, there's apps, and so on. So it's exciting to see when these people actually start to get involved, what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to that time. We're getting there. These chats are starting to dwindle away about the collection and the token and the NFT and so on, right? We're more into the experience and what it is you're actually building behind your IP itself. So yeah, I like the conversation here. I like where you all are going, and it looks really fun, to be honest.
I think Legion wants to share something really interesting. We have been talking something on the private chat right now of the stream, and Legion, they want to tell us more about that rare item or something.
Yeah, I was talking with Fallen, and YGG has some artists in your community, and we might get together some YGG items to have for the solstice party on Friday.
Ooh, fun. I don't see like a flag I saw. Looks good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
So
we have to accept it, so we'll make a nice one.
We will definitely make
Can't
use
wait to
out
see
of
that.
it, and we'll definitely use it on the future YGG events on Pixels. So another question that we have is from Boring Forever. She's actually asking if Pixels will integrate more EFE into the game, or even other game NFTs.
Yeah. So we will. We took like a tiny break on integrating some PFPs, but I think we want to start opening it up again. We do actually have some cool collabs coming up with some more known PFPs actually. What's great is Animoca Brands invested in our last round, and there's a lot of projects in that ecosystem that we're probably going to start tapping into a bit more. And yeah, doing some collabs with some different IP around there as well. So that's actually some alpha potentially, but yeah, we're really interested in that ecosystem. Obviously, it's an ecosystem that has invested in us previously, so it's nice that we can kind of tap into that. And then the goal in the long run too is we kind of want to start to move that towards a more self-service model, just like we've done with some of these UGC decorations, where we want to make it super easy for NFT collections to integrate into us. It's a win-win for both communities, right? You guys get utility for your NFT collections, you get to see it in the game. People literally buy NFTs that they see in pixels because they look cool in pixels. We see that all the time. But then, yeah, it's obviously also good for us too, because then we get more users into our ecosystem. So yeah, more of that will be coming. And then, yeah, we're interested in integrating anything. I love the idea of cross game utility. The idea of like one asset working in multiple games. So if it's already been in a different game, it's totally fine. If obviously the people that own that IP are okay with it.
Yeah, definitely, and it actually makes a lot of sense right now on Web3, because on Web2 games, it's more of a collaboration feature. Like you need to purchase it again on a different game, right? But on a Web3 game, you can actually you already own the asset, you already own the NFT, and you can actually use it on different games. It's actually quite interesting to have your collection or the things that you currently have to be usable in a lot of other ecosystems is currently existing. And majority of the people right now in Web3, they have lots of collection that they really want to show off, and they really want to love showing off, especially on a community-based game like Pixel. So yeah, more of this are just more of these are just comments or what. So there's also one question, because a lot of people right now in Discord is a fan of Luke and Heidi. So they were asking if you guys have openings on like your Discord channel or what. But I think it's a joke or what. Or maybe you guys have an opening for moderators or what.
Yeah, I get asked this question a lot. We have a small group of users in our Discord that have a role called the farmhands, and a lot of people ask me, when can I be a farmhand? And we're not really taking on new people at the moment. We try to keep that group pretty tight and small. And if people are added, it's because we've seen them for months and months and months displaying kind of a behavior that would make sense to join the team, and that is someone that just completely fits in with the culture that we've built and continue to try to build, someone that's really, really helpful, helps us moderate in tough situations. That's another part of it. It's not the prettiest job to have. People kind of put it on a pedestal, but with any kind of moderation position, there's a lot of hardships, right?
Yeah.
So at the moment, no, we're not opening it up, and we probably won't ever open it up. Like I said, it's more we see people that display like a want to be here without having any sort of position, and then we're like, okay, do you want to be part of this team? I actually said, it's funny because I kind of send them like this like big chunk of text, and I'm like, you need to read through all of this content and you need to be serious about it, and they're like but yeah, I love that people want to be a part of the team more, though. That does warm my heart a lot.
All right, so you guys have heard it from Heidi himself. If you guys want to jump into their Discord channel, here's the link. The link is about to show anytime soon on the screen. So be active, know more about the game, and maybe someday, I'm not gonna be talking for them, but maybe someday they'll open those positions for you guys. But yeah, a lot of people are really hyped up on Pixels and its future. I'm definitely excited about the Mario Party integration, the Mario Party like games integration on the game itself, and definitely on this week, me, Noisias, and the rest of the YGG community would be jumping over to the game itself and test it out firsthand. So, alright, guys, any closing message from you, Luke, KD, Legion, before we can actually close out the EMA?
Yeah, well, first of all, obviously, thank you for having us on today. This has been really fun, but also thank you for being a part of the journey with us, with Tiff, getting in contact with your community, and now we're just kind of like one big community together. It's wonderful. And then we have all of these energy parties, and of course you all are planning to throw one soon. So yeah, just thank you, and it's great.
Our pleasure. It's actually thank you for you guys for sharing your time.
Yeah.
Luke, I know you are busy right now. You are in a convention or something. Heidi, sorry, it's really early, I think.
It's
And
okay. It's still, yeah, 8 a.m. Well, it's 9 a.m. now, but it's fine. It's fine.
and Legion, thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise, guys, about the game. We are really excited to deep dive on Pixels on this entire week. We have a lot of shows prepared for you guys. So, Fallen, do we have a schedule for this week's activities that we can announce?
We will be going with the general schedule, and then obviously we have the energy event on Friday. But we will, as always, be having a poster, and we'll share that with the rest of the community there, so they can have all the events scheduled there. It's going to be another jam-packed week as always, and then we'll have the wrap up on next Saturday as well.
Awesome. So before we end this video, let's play the last video that we have prepared for you guys. So let's go. Awesome. That video is from one of our community member, Angela. And I hope during this entire week we have more user generated contents for Pixel. And I hope everyone goes to all the events that we have planned out for this week. I will be posting a poster reminding you guys on the schedule for this week. And all right, I think that's it for us right now. This is Sil, and see you guys on our next stream. Peace out, guys. Good night. Good night. GG's. GM and good
Together
night.
we play.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, in general.
Bye, guys.
Later.